Hey story lovers! If you're into mystery, suspense, and unexpected twists, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe, relax, and let's dive into today's story. Sophia Montgomery had always lived a life most could only dream of. As the daughter of Richard Montgomery, a self-made billionaire in the real estate industry, she was accustomed to a world of luxury and privilege. From private jets to exclusive parties, she had always been surrounded by wealth, her every whim catered to by personal assistants, designers, and chauffeurs. Her father's empire stretched across continents, with towering skyscrapers and sprawling estates. Her mother, Caroline, was a picture of elegance, always attending charity galas, hosting high-profile events, and guiding Sophia with grace and poise. Growing up, Sophia didn't question her wealth. To her, the vast mansion they lived in, the gold-plated faucets in the bathrooms, and the collection of rare designer clothes in her walk-in closets were just part of life. Sophia had never wanted for anything, yet despite the abundance around her, she felt something was missing. She had been enrolled in the best private schools and attended the most prestigious universities, but she was always treated like an accessory, the rich girl with the famous last name, rather than a person with her own identity. Her interactions with people felt shallow, like they were more interested in what she could provide them with rather than who she truly was. Despite this, she had always admired her father's success. Richard Montgomery had worked tirelessly to build his fortune, and his belief in hard work and ambition shaped much of Sophia's upbringing. She was taught that money was power, and with it, anything was possible. But as Sophia entered adulthood, she began to question the world her father had created for her. She couldn't ignore the emptiness she felt in her heart. Was this all there was to life? Parties, power, and prestige? And then came the storm. It started slowly, a minor dip in the stock market, a few bad investments, but by the time it was over, it had wiped out everything. The family fortune, built over decades, was suddenly gone. Richard Montgomery had always believed that no matter what happened, money could fix everything. But in this moment, it was clear that even money couldn't save them. The mansion was sold off, the luxurious cars were auctioned, and the high society world they had been a part of quickly vanished. For the first time in her life, Sophia felt the weight of reality. No longer a billionaire's daughter, she was now a young woman facing an uncertain future. The world that had once felt so secure now felt foreign, and she had to learn how to navigate this new reality. No longer surrounded by the trappings of wealth, Sophia was forced to reckon with who she truly was. The question now was, could she find herself without the crutch of money and social status? Ethan Clark had always known the value of hard work. Raised in a small town by a single mother, Ethan had learned early on that life wasn't going to hand him anything. His family had struggled financially for as long as he could remember. But instead of letting that define him, Ethan chose to use it as fuel for his ambitions. He was determined to make something of himself, to break the cycle of poverty that had kept his family down for generations. Ethan worked 2 jobs while going to school. He worked as a barista at a local cafe, serving coffee to customers with a smile, even though he was often exhausted. He also tutored high school students in math, a subject he was particularly gifted at. He didn't mind the hard work. He knew that the scholarship he had earned to attend the university would be his ticket to a better life. His dream was to become an engineer, to use his skills to create something that could change the world. Despite the challenges he faced, Ethan never lost sight of his goal. He had never been interested in the luxuries that other people seemed to value. While his classmates showed off their expensive clothes and phones, Ethan was content with what he had, a worn-out backpack, a few pairs of jeans, and a mind full of ambition. To him, success wasn't about appearances. It was about earning your place in the world through hard work and dedication. His life, however, was about to take an unexpected turn. A random twist of fate led him to meet Sophia Montgomery. They were roommates in the same university apartment building, a result of Sophia's sudden need for affordable housing after her family lost their fortune. At first, Ethan was cautious around Sophia. He had seen her type before, the privileged, high-society individuals who seemed to have everything handed to them. He didn't trust people who had never known struggle. But over time, he couldn't ignore the shifts he saw in her. She wasn't like the others. She was trying to adapt to a life that was completely foreign to her. And beneath her facade of elegance, he saw someone who was vulnerable, someone who was searching for meaning beyond wealth. As they spent more time together, Ethan began to see a side of Sophia that no one else did. She was kind, genuine, and thoughtful, and slowly but surely, his walls began to come down. Despite their differences in background, they started to bond over their shared experiences of feeling like outsiders. Their friendship grew, and soon, they became inseparable. But Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that Sophia's attraction to him was tied to something deeper, something more complicated than just who he was. As Sophia settled into her new life, she began to realize how much she had changed. At first, she resisted the simplicity of her new life. She was used to the luxuries, the privileges, the security that wealth had provided. But slowly, she began to see things differently. Ethan's world, though humble, was real. It was grounded in hard work, in dreams, and in the struggle for something better. There was no pretension in Ethan. He wasn't trying to impress anyone, and that was a quality Sophia found both alluring and intimidating. Despite her inner conflict, Sophia felt drawn to him. The more she spent time with him, the more she realized that her attraction wasn't just about his situation, his scholarship, or the way he carried himself. It was the way he made her feel. When she was with him, she felt seen for who she was, not who her father had been. He didn't treat her as a rich girl, but as a person. And that was something she had longed for. Ethan, on the other hand, had never imagined he would be attracted to someone like Sophia. She had been the girl in class everyone admired from afar. She was beautiful, poised, and sophisticated. But she was also a world apart from his reality. She had everything he had ever wanted: wealth, status, and opportunities. He knew that people like her didn't look at people like him. And yet, there was something about her that pulled him in. As they spent more time together, his feelings for her deepened. But Ethan couldn't ignore the nagging thought that Sophia's interest in him might have been rooted in pity or curiosity. The internal battle raged inside both of them. Sophia was trying to figure out if her feelings were for Ethan, the person, or for the world he represented. Ethan, meanwhile, was trying to keep his feelings in check, unsure if Sophia was truly in love with him or just searching for something she couldn't find in her own world. As time passed, both Sophia and Ethan started to confront the truth about their feelings. They were falling in love with each other, not because of wealth or status, but because of who they were at their core. Sophia began to see how much she had been defined by her father's wealth and how, in Ethan, she had found someone who didn't care about her last name or her family's fortune. He cared about her heart, her soul, and the person she was becoming. Ethan, too, came to understand that Sophia's love for him wasn't about his lack of wealth. She saw something in him that was genuine, a hardworking, passionate, and determined person who was not defined by his financial status. But their love was not without its complications. Sophia struggled with the guilt of feeling like she had betrayed her family's legacy. She had been raised to marry someone who could secure her place in society, someone who could offer her the same lifestyle she had grown up with. Ethan, though he loved her with all his heart, could never offer her the life of luxury she had once known. Their love wasn't simple, it required both of them to step away from the expectations placed on them by society. Just as they were beginning to build a life together, fate intervened. Sophia was diagnosed with cancer. The news was devastating, a harsh reminder of the fragility of life. Ethan stood by her, even as she grew weaker and more frail. In her final days, as her strength waned, Sophia realized something she had never fully understood before: the truth of her love for Ethan. She wasn't in love with the idea of him or his humble beginnings. She loved him because he had shown her what real love was, a love that didn't depend on wealth, power, or status. In the hospital room, her last breath came as she whispered, "I love you, Ethan. I always have." Tears filled his eyes as he whispered back, "I love you too, Sophia. You made me believe in love." Her passing left a void in his heart, but he knew that the love they had shared was the most genuine thing he had ever known.